Welcome to the premiere episode of the Boro4Boro podcast, where we take a bite out of the New York City real estate scene. I'm Matthew Wynter, and I'm joined today by three esteemed guests who represent the various neighborhoods of New York City that everyone knows and loves. Now, we're going to do a quick round of introductions, but before we do that, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to the More Network so you can be in tune with all the episodes of Boro4Boro, as well as all the great podcasts that we have on the network. So Isaiah, you want to go ahead and give a quick intro?
Sure. I'm Isaiah Ajala, representing the Borough of Kings.
And I'm Traci Byers, representing Manhattan.
I'm Scottie Cabrera, representing the Bronx.
And I'm Matthew Wynter, representing Queens. So even though we're all, representing our neighborhoods, we're all New York City experts. So we're going to keep it nice and light today, guys. I don't want to hear too many jabs from the Borough of Kings from Isaiah. But we're all gonna make sure to keep it. he's going to try to be so innocent. But what we're gonna do is make sure that we're, give some insight into the various neighborhoods in our respective boroughs, because obviously we're closest to the scene and we know what's going on a day-to-day basis. So, give us a start off on what's going on in Brooklyn, Isaiah.
So in Brooklyn, right? I think today we're talking about some of the up-and-coming neighborhoods or some of the best neighborhoods to look out for in 2024. And I was going to do Bed-Stuy, right? Because I spend a lot of my time in Bed-Stuy. Matter of fact, Bed-Stuy, Bedvine Brew, which is in Bed-Stuy, is where I got these rosé sangrias, right? I spend a lot of time in Bed-Stuy, but I figured everybody knows about Bed-Stuy. Mm-hmm. So the first neighborhood I'm going to highlight is Ocean Hill, which I refer to as mini Bed-Stuy. It's a little small enclave, a little triangle south of Bed-Stuy, which connects to Bed-Stuy, Bushwick, a bit of Brownsville, and East New York. The housing stock is very much similar to Bed-Stuy. You have a lot of brownstones, a lot of townhouses, frame houses, but also a lot of the amenities you will share with Bed-Stuy. Now, Ocean Hill, the southern part of Ocean Hill, which connects to East New York, is where Broadway Junction is. Now, I'm sure most of you may have heard that they're going to do like a $500 million improvement into Ocean Hill. Into Broadway Junction. Yeah. Broadway Junction has the J train, the Z train, the L train,
it's like
AC.
A hub.
Yeah, exactly. It's a hub.
That's
and it
cool.
also has the Long Island Railroad, which will be able to take you into JFK.
Nice.
So I feel like with all of that, I feel like that could be a neighborhood to look out for moving into 2024.
Cool.
Because you'd basically be getting in early before all of that happens. So,
well, that's what's happening, right?
Yeah.
The median house price in Bed-Stuy right now is about 1.4 million. And this is all according to Redfin, so don't come at me. But according to Redfin, it's about 1.4. Yeah. Ocean Hill, which neighbors Bed-Stuy, it's less than $1 million, right? So you can still feel that kind of like Bed-Stuy vibe, that neighborhood, that sitting on the stoop in the summertime vibe without spending 1.4 million. So I feel like there's a trend, or like the migration might go down to like Ocean Hill, which is you still get a lot of the eateries. So whether you're going down to Peach's Hot House, or whether it's Bedvine Brew, or whether it's Cuts and Slices, you all
been
get
to
there.
Cuts and Slices too.
Right?
I've
Cuts
been
and
there.
Slices.
Yeah,
They're famous now for their pizzas.
They got viral.
Right, for their pizzas. So like you can still get all of that while still staying in Ocean Hill. Ocean Hill, I have to mention September is like one of my favorite cafes in that area. So like there's a lot of things to do over there. And again, it's also like kind of close to JFK or easy access to JFK going down Atlantic Avenue.
Yeah. And everyone's looking for a commute at the end of the day, whether it's to go out of town or to get into the city.
Right. And I think so you have Broadway Junction, which is like the southern part of Ocean Hill, but then you also have the C train and the J and Z train that facilitates Ocean Hill. The J and Z is through like Broadway Junction on the Bushwick side, and you have the C train, which runs through Ocean Hill.
Okay, starting off strong. Ocean Hill, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a good one. And a lot of folks probably don't know about Ocean Hill. So if you didn't know about it before,
you know about it now.
Yeah.
You know about it now.
And where exactly is it between?
So again, it's between Bed-Stuy, Bushwick, and then the southern part is like a bit of East New York and a bit of Brownsville as well.
Cool.
Okay, all right.
I gotta
Cool.
familiarize myself with Brooklyn. I know certain areas, but
Yeah, you're uptown Tracy.
Yeah, the Uptown Tracy.
She's actually got a couple listens in Brooklyn.
Right?
I do actually, which are almost done. So.
Speaking
Good
of
for you.
Uptown, though, Scottie, take us up to the Bronx. What's going
Sure,
on in
sure,
the
man.
Bronx?
The Bronx, birthplace of hip hop and home to the New York Yankees. So the area that I wanted to talk about is Mount Haven. This is a upcoming, thriving neighborhood, redevelopment zone. Pretty much all the developers are there now. I looked on Street Easy not long ago. Actually, there's like 200 rental listings there. Like, it's crazy. I'm just like, what's happening? Like, and you turn around, there's a new building going up like every day. Your average price points are like on a rental, you're looking at for a 1-bedroom about $2,600 all the way up to a 3-bedroom for about $6,300, somewhere around there. And it's amazing. Like, a lot of these new developments are really going top notch. There basketball courts, there's cafes, there's 24-hour concert service. It's amazing. Wow. It's amazing.
What do you think is causing the flock? Like, is it the proximity? What is it about it?
I just think like the Bronx is kind of like an untapped borough. It's kind of like the last of the Mohegans, so to speak, right? This area is thriving. There's land there. There are a lot of old buildings there that they're knocking down and just, putting new buildings up.
Yeah.
What are like some of the like rental prices for those new devs?
Yeah, so the rental prices like range from like $2,600 all the way up to about $6,000 depending on the size of the apartment. $2,600 obviously
Bronx,
being
that's a lot.
it is yeah.
New era.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
For 1-bedroom though, how much you think? Reckon?
About 2,600.
About
2,600, yeah, 26, 2,800 ranging. And some of the buildings, some of them that stuck out to me. There's one called the Estrella, that's on
Actually been there.
Girard Avenue. Yeah, it's beautiful decor. It's amazing. I went to a brokers event there, and I mean, of course, with new developments, you find that a lot of the apartments are a little bit smaller in square footage.
Yeah.
But you kind of, there's a trade-off, obviously.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the amenities.
It's all about them, and it's right.
Yeah.
You're not staying in your apartment all day. I mean, most people are working and coming home.
What
but-
kind of amenities do they have?
So they have like a gym, 24-hour doorman service, basketball courts. They have like yoga rooms, saunas. It's roof decks, dog kennels and things like that. Like it's really amazing, man.
Yeah, and it's a high rise. So,
Yeah.
for everyone, views are the big thing in New York.
Sure.
So, especially being all the way up in the Bronx and being able to get the panoramic views, I'm sure that's a lot of what people are looking for in a rental.
Absolutely, and Mount Haven is, for those that don't know, it's bordering like Harlem River and South Bronx, so it's in between. You're literally, the access to Manhattan is just a couple bridges away. Like just a ride away on a bridge.
Okay, all right. So 2 for 2. All right, Mount Haven. Mount Haven is also one that you've been hearing a lot more about.
Yeah.
So Uptown Tracy, take us across that bridge and tell us what's going on in Manhattan.
So Harlem is where it's at. Number one.
First and foremost.
That's only because I live and work there, and most of my business is there. But I mean, it just has like everything combined in restaurants. There's parks. There's parking, which is important.
There's parking.
Yeah, there's parking.
Really?
We have music venues, famous restaurants, eateries, the famous Apollo Theater. So a lot of people flock there because of the convenience of it all.
Absolutely.
But for right now, Harlem is, new devs. It's a mix of co-ops, condos, a mix of condos and co-ops. And lately, the price per square foot is about $700 for like a 1-bedroom, which is pretty good. And for rentals, it's about $700. So I think right now it's more of like the affordable place to be, and you do get more for price per square foot.
Absolutely.
Which is about $900-ish price per square foot.
Any noteworthy buildings that we should be on the lookout for?
There's a lot. So actually, Douglas Elliman just listed one, 370 Lenox, and they're condos, and price per square foot, they're about like $900.
Not bad.
So for 1-beds, it's about $1 million. For 2-beds, it is. Sorry. So for one beds, it's about $1 million. And there's also 11 Hancock, which is about 900 for one bedrooms. And price per square foot, they're about 1,300.
Cool.
Price per square foot. So we see a lot of studios, condos go really fast in Harlem. There's also a new dev at 1856 Park Avenue. It's a rental building, and it's pretty high. I mean, when it comes to like, that's kind of bordering East Harlem. They are rezoning it, so I mean, it's a pretty high building. The one bedrooms there are about $3,000 for a rental, and the one bed's about $3,100. Two beds about $39. So price is definitely up there, but you're getting a lot of amenities in the building.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about Harlem is that people want to say that they're on the island of Manhattan. Like, that's just a thing. And so to be able to still get affordability, still be able to get a lot of the amenities without having to be all the way downtown, that's attractive for some people. And you have all the major train lines and a ferry now.
It's super convenient.
Yeah.
You have the 456, 23.
And you mentioned East Harlem, too. East Harlem, I still think there's still a lot that's going to be happening there, especially from a new dev standpoint. I've been hearing a lot more conversation.
The Second Avenue line.
Second Avenue line, yeah.
Up
They've been
there,
talking about that for a while.
Yeah, but I think this year they're supposed to actually start the groundwork.
Okay.
So just on that, in terms of like Harlem, again, I'm a Brooklyn guy, so I don't really know much about Harlem. But East Harlem, Central Harlem, North Harlem, how does that, like, what is the neighborhood, or which is the better? East Harlem,
Central Harlem is the best because, you know, you're by all the transportation.
Okay.
It's more of a commercialized area.
Right.
East Harlem is still like the mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
Okay.
There, you know.
Developing,
But it did get rezoning, so there's a lot of new devs that are going up coming soon. And then West Harlem, again, is also still mom and pop shops. But you have Columbia over there, so there's a lot of like new devs that they're building. So over time, yes, West Harlem and East Harlem, I feel like it's gonna surpass the two. But Central Harlem is actually we have Whole Foods, it's getting a Trader Joe's. They put Cane's Chicken, Dave's Hot Chicken.
Wow.
So many hot chicken places.
Oh, man. Hot chicken's a thing.
You know, it's kind of like, I feel like it's growing faster than the other sides, but you know, I feel like the other West and East will catch up soon with all the new devs.
Yeah, I feel like people have been talking about Harlem for years, and the fact that there's still so much opportunity, that's exciting. But I'm going to bring it home to Queens. That's all cool. You know, Brooklyn and Bronx and Manhattan, Harlem, that's all cool. But needless to say, what's going on, the hottest place that people should be looking at this year and beyond is Long Island City. And I'm going to tell you why. So Queens overall is in the middle of a resurgence. I think people naturally will talk about Brooklyn. They may talk about Manhattan, Uptown a lot more in terms of, you know, the more desirable places that you hear more chatter about. Yeah. But in terms of value, I stand on the fact that in Queens, you can get a better price per square foot, and specifically in Long Island City, where that is the most, how should I say this? That's become the most desirable place because of all the new developments that have gone on there through the years. But in terms of a budding scene that I still think that is ripe for opportunity, I think Long Island City is the place because in 2024, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of the trends that we started to see a few years back. Obviously, last year was an interesting year for real estate, but 2024 already, year to date, the price per square foot is above $1,600, which is
that for rentals or sales?
That's for sales.
Okay.
Which says a lot. You know, $1,600, to put in perspective, last year we were around $1,500 at this time last year, and that's one of the highest price per square foot that we've ever had in Long Island City. So clearly there's a lot of interest, and for resale specifically, people who have been in Long Island City for a while, you can actually get a lot of value and get a nice return, while someone who's coming in knowing that it's already trending up, you can get in now at, you know, not necessarily a cheap price point, but at a great value point that it's going to appreciate just based off the amount of construction that's happening there on a day-to-day basis, and the fact it's becoming a real hotbed for commercial activity as well.
Yeah. Whereabouts is Long Island City?
I was Just
Yeah.
about to ask that.
Geography of Queens.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
how do
yeah.
you get there?
Yeah, great question.
Right.
So Long Island City is the westernmost part of Queens.
Okay.
So think about right across the East River.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have the most beautiful views of the of the New York City skyline. We got to get this guy in Long Island City. Next episode, he'll be singing a different tune. But yeah, it's the westernmost part. So to the north, you have Astoria, and actually to the south, you have Greenpoint. So for folks who may be familiar with Greenpoint and not realize the proximity, you just have to go over a small bridge and you're in Long Island City. So it's attractive to folks because from a train standpoint, in Court Square, as well as on Vernon Boulevard, you can get the 7 train, the F train, the E train. You can get so many different lines, the N, the Q, the R, up on Queens Plaza, north and south. So there's so many train lines that can take you beyond Queens and to Upper Manhattan. It can take you down to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks are flocking towards that because it gets you out of the city, which for some people, it may feel too congested in Manhattan. So they want to, go to the outer boroughs.
Right.
But you're still within a stone's throw. And you're right there in terms of the commute time to get to Manhattan if you need to be.
I got a question for you, Matt. Why is Queens so confusing? Like driving, train, I'm always lost.
It's got to throw you off because if it's too easy, it's too easy, and we don't want that.
Oh man.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot to love, and I think we're gonna go a little bit deeper in it after we cut to break because I think there's more neighborhoods that I want us to talk about because I do think while these are some of the hottest neighborhoods that we've talked about right now, I think there's some up and coming ones that I want us to have some conversation about because us being closer to what's going on and having a little bit of predictive analysis, if you would, I think there's a couple neighborhoods that we could talk about that I think, after the break, let's go into it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's go.
Sounds good.
This beautiful set here at Studio 1873 is brought to you by the Everset. The Everset provides full-service staging and furniture rental solutions in the New York area. For more information, please visit us at staging.theeverset.com or email us at staging@theeverset.com to request a free proposal.
You guys, I'm leaving you behind. You're making me seem
shoot.
like a wino. I'm halfway done. You guys are even.
Oh man.
Take a sip. Let me know how you like it.
Oh, I like it. Probably too much.
I've had more than a sip already, but
It's really good.
it's pretty good.
Start the morning off
Rosé
strong.
sangria?
Yeah, so this is a rosé sangria from Bed Vine Brew. It's one of the
really good.
staples in Bed-Stuy. It's on Tompkins and Putnam Avenue. Matter of fact, shout out to the owner, Rotimi. He's a staple in Bed-Stuy as well.
Yeah, it is.
Very, very, very good guy. Always has time for me. Always has time for people.
Is that like your local spot?
Not local, but I always go there to celebrate.
Nice.
Definitely. Like I always
That's
go
where you
there
close the deal and go.
Yeah.
What's the vibe like?
Very chill.
Okay.
Very chill. On the weekends, it can get, you can meet a partner or two.
Yeah.
Right? But no, it's definitely a good vibe. Definitely good people. Definitely a staple in Bed-Stuy. They've actually won quite a few awards, and I think they've won awards internationally as well.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's
For
definitely.
this? Because
no,
this thing is...
this is my little secret.
Oh, okay.
But,
Man, it ain't a secret no more, man.
but no, Bed Vine Brew, especially in the summer times, they do like a block party and
Yeah.
things of that nature.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
That's pretty
if
cool.
you're ever in Bed-Stuy on a weekend, you should definitely get out there.
Cool, let's bring it in. Let's
All right,
Cheers.
cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Best style brew.
All right, starting off strong.
Bed Vine
All right,
Brew.
Brooklyn.
Oh, Bed Vine brew. Yeah.
All right. So we're back, folks. Let's go into it. So, in the beginning, we talked about Ocean Hill, we talked about Mott Haven, and we talked about Harlem. But let's talk about what we think is going to be that neighborhood that's like primed to break out this year and beyond. So I'll start it off with Queens. So I know I mentioned Long Island City, which everyone has heard of Long Island City at this point. Everyone's familiar with it. And because of how excitable Long Island City is, I think the surrounding neighborhoods are actually primed to actually break out. And the specific neighborhood that I'm really big on is Sunnyside. So are you guys familiar with Sunnyside?
No.
No.
I don't know that they
not
have a
really.
subway station.
It does have a subway station.
Cool.
So you could take the boy out of Brooklyn, but yeah, Sunnyside. So Sunnyside is to the east of Long Island City. So right to the north of it is Woodside. And Woodside and Sunnyside, Queens Boulevard pretty much takes you across both of them. And the 7 line runs through there. So as we know, 7 line will take you all the way to Hudson Yards. And you can go deeper into Queens all the way to Flushing on that 7 line. And there's also the R train. There's the Q train that'll run you on 31st Ave. And the great thing about Sunnyside is not only of its proximity to Long Island City, but it's a bustling scene that I think it's becoming a lot younger, a lot hipper because, let's call it what it is. Long Island City is getting a lot pricier for younger folks, a lot of folks who are looking for rentals. There's a lot of new construction that's going on for luxury rental buildings, which is great. Right in that Court Square area, we have the Bond that's coming right on Jackson Ave. And there's so many right at that one stoplight that within a year's time will all be up and thriving. But because of that, the average rental is above $4,000 in Long Island City now. And that's not necessarily affordable for everyone. And so for folks who are still looking for that proximity, still looking for that convenience, but also want to be in the scene and not necessarily have to pay for it, my advice is always going to be Sunnyside, because in Sunnyside, you're really about 5 to 10 minutes away. You're really 1 to 2 stops on that same train line that's going to take you into the city. But in terms of the affordability, you're almost cutting it in half. So the price for a rental in Sunnyside is going to be in the twos. Right. And you may not necessarily, in terms of the stock of the apartments, it's not going to be as many of the condos. It is going to be a lot more sales. It's co-op rentals. It's going to be, older buildings. Right. But that's where a lot of the affordability is going to come in, because in terms of the location itself, it's more affordable. And as naturally the influx of condo buildings and luxury rentals starts to make its way into Sunnyside, I think in years to come, maybe we'll have a different conversation. But now, hands down, I do think that Sunnyside is the place that if you're maybe a little bit priced out or Long Island City may not be for you, you're still going to be able to reap a lot of those benefits by going to Sunnyside.
So I was going to ask that, so Long Island City has the waterfront, the restaurants. What does Sunnyside have?
Yeah, so Sunnyside is...
if I were just to go to Sunnyside on a evening, what would I do there?
Yeah, no, so Sunnyside is a lot more what you say mom and pop. There's a lot more established businesses that have been there. I'm a big soccer fan, so there's this great soccer bar that I go to and I watch it in Sunnyside, right down the street from my house in Long Island City.
Where do you live? Oh.
In Long Island City,
okay.
yes.
Gotcha.
And so, there's a lot of multicultural foods that you can get there. There's a big Ecuadorian scene there. There's a big Peruvian, you name it. As we all know, Queens is the most diverse place in the world per square foot. So right within that little neighborhood, you can get so many different types of cuisines. The nightlife scene, it may not necessarily be what we may expect in, say, a Long Island City or Brooklyn or Manhattan, but in terms of being able to have a nice chill night, you can go to a bar, you can really actually be able to hear yourself and whoever you're talking to. I do still think that right now it still has a nice community vibe to it, and people are looking for that. So, yeah, definitely Sunnyside.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man.
All right, so talk to us about where you think, Trace. What's next?
What's next? So I have been keeping my eyes on Midtown.
Right.
And Midtown is kind of like the same thing, kind of a bustling kind of area. But we have a mix of luxury buildings, condos, older pre-war buildings. And most people don't know what Midtown is. So it starts off Midtown East is from the River to 5th.
Okay.
And from 6th on to 12th is Midtown West.
Okay.
So you have the Times Square, Rockefeller Center, upscale shopping, such as Saks and Tiffany's. Yeah, and there's a lot of new devs that are there. Some of the newer ones have been 111 residences, which for 1 bedrooms, it's more luxury. So they start about 1.195. And then the 2 beds start at 1.85. And that's 11 West 56th Street. So that's between 6th and 7th Avenue. And then you have a new one that I've been to recently, which is the Monogram. That's more in Turtle Bay area. Okay. So the studios start at $855K. Yeah. 1 beds are 1.2, and the price per square foot is about $1,906.
That's pretty affordable in comparison to some of the neighboring areas.
Yes, and it's very, I would say, investor friendly. So a lot of international buyers are buying in Midtown right now because, as you know, since COVID, it's been just a little slower with commercial spaces and things. So I think investors are kind of looking at that area as this is where I want to invest because you have everything there. It's the most convenient area in Manhattan personally that I think, because you have all the trains in Times Square and Grand Central, so it's easy access. And based on Greg Himes's, which is our chief economist,
Shout out to Greg Himes.
his last weekly report, February 5th, contracts were up 12% from last week.
Oh, wow.
So that's pretty good.
That's good.
And he was saying the average asking price is about 1.7.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow. Okay, so
there you go.
Midtown's on the come up.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that kind of speaks on the market as well.
Yeah.
Just touching on it. I think that kind of speaks on the market a little bit as well about the sentiment about buyers. Because I know since COVID, international buyers were kind of like, they went
They're
away.
on a halt,
And
yeah.
like now they seem to be coming back, which could be good for 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
And I think, I've been hearing in the news that a lot of empty commercial spaces and businesses are vacant. So
Yeah, I was getting
there are
ready to say
talks
that.
and rumors of them turning those into
Apartments, yeah.
residences. Yeah.
They actually just zoned
that's, we have a housing shortage in the city, so
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be really good for
I think
New York
that
City.
Mayor Adams just rezoned like certain parts actually to do residential in a lot of the commercial buildings.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
so that's going to be interesting.
And imagine the amount of space that people are going to get in those.
Yeah. Well, if they don't chop them up.
Yeah.
But
True.
I do love a new dev that's like a pre-existing building.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, usually they try to keep the square footage because they have to. It's already
Yeah, a lot of high
established.
ceilings.
Right.
A lot of high
A
ceilings.
lot of high ceilings,
yeah.
loft styles. Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
people are going to be looking to be where it's at. And Midtown East, like you said, it's already in the middle of so many places that people naturally want to be. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a good one.
I mean,
you really can walk everywhere. You don't
yeah.
have to take the train.
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So Scottie, talk about Uptown. What's happening up there?
Uptown. I'm gonna take you over to Riverdale. Riverdale is not necessarily quiet as far as like best kept secret or anything like that, but it's a place where if you want peace and quiet, you can go.
Yeah.
It's affordable. And
Where is Riverdale?
it's in the Bronx.
Okay. All right. Because
And I say
sometimes people ask
that,
that.
yeah, I say that because a lot of times they try to disassociate themselves from the Bronx because it's a nicer part of the Bronx. Obviously, that
They
everybody.
won't be the only ones that try and disassociate themselves from the
They're probably gonna hate me for talking about it right now, right? But no, yeah, Riverdale is a quiet. It's more family oriented.
Is that
So
east, west, north, south? Like
It's
where?
actually it's on off the Hudson River.
Okay, so
so
it's west.
it's
Okay.
west. Yep, and it's a place for like families. If you want to raise your kids, or if you don't have kids yet but you're looking to have kids, they have one of the best school districts in the Bronx actually. Particularly,
Philston, right?
huh?
Philston is one of the private
Philston,
schools.
yeah. There's also
Horace
Horace
Mann,
Mann,
yeah.
which is a very prestigious school.
Yeah.
You can, I think, from kindergarten all the way up to 12th grade. So it's pretty nice. Co-ops range. I mean, there's a lot of co-ops there. So that's it. It's mostly co-ops. You have maybe a few condos and then single family homes.
So it's not something that you're going to see a lot of new dev. It's someone
No.
who's going there looking for, like you said, a co-op or something that's
Right.
already established. to move
Exactly.
into. Okay.
You'll find a lot of pre-war style buildings. But there's a co-op building particularly that is very popular called the Skyview, and that's on Arlington Avenue. And then you can actually find something for in the mid twos probably, all the way up into probably about $500K for a 3-bedroom. And then there's another building called the Celeria, which I particularly like. It's a condo building. And this one has like all of the amenities. You can find something there for about $800K, all the way up to about $2 million. And that's for a 5-bedroom, $2 million, or 2-bedroom for about $800K.
$2 million in Riverdale.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, but
Wow, I
it's
didn't know.
Pretty good.
you get all the amenities, all the perks. You also have access to Metro North leading into the city, express buses. I mean, and we also have an office there. So
Okay.
No, we do.
And then the one train goes up there too.
the
right?
one train as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
the one train also goes up there. And then average square foot is about 600 to 700 per square foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a condo. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Sounds
So
like
if
the
people are
Bronx is
kind of
trying to-
looking to get out of the city,
Right.
in the
Yeah,
city,
right.
they can kind of go there.
Exactly. If you're looking to escape the city and you want a little bit of peace and quiet, but access to get to the city,
Yeah.
Riverdale is probably it.
I think the views too, right?
The views are
beautiful there.
amazing,
Like
yeah.
right on the Hudson.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Okay. All right. So Riverdale is definitely somewhere that people need to check out.
Back to Brooklyn.
Back to Brooklyn. You gotta say it with your chest.
Why you say it like that?
Because watch, he's just gonna go down deep on Brooklyn. So talk to us about
No,
what's
do you know
going on in
what's so
Brooklyn.
funny? It's funny you said
Take it
that.
home.
'Cause I actually thought it was fitting that you saved the best to last.
Oh.
So, the next neighborhood that I'm gonna, which I think is really you're gonna see developments over there, is Flatbush Junction.
Okay.
So from Church Avenue South to maybe like Avenue H, I feel like you're gonna see a lot of development and a lot of sales over there for a number of reasons. One, the amenities, right? So you have the Marine Park Golf Course, which is close to Flatbush Junction. You have Kings Plaza, and you also have Rockaway Beach. And you also have Shirley Chisholm Park. But those three, the State Park, the golf course, the mall, and the beach, that's all a bus ride from Flatbush Junction. So you can catch the 2 and the 5 from like Midtown, from Harlem, from the Bronx, right? Go down to Flatbush Junction, catch the Q35, and it will take you to Kings Plaza Mall. I'm an avid like Zara shopper, so they have Zara there, so that's my place.
Yeah.
But then if you're into golf, like it will take you to the golf course, Marine Park Golf Course, or it will take you down to Rockaway Beach. And being in the city, you don't often like, where else are you going to go to surf, right? Where else are you going to go to play golf? Maybe in the Bronx.
You could go in the Bronx.
Yeah, maybe in the Bronx, but definitely Queens. So you have that, right? And then also you have, it's a short distance from Prospect Park, and it's also a short distance from the Shirley Chisholm State Park. So if you like hiking, that's an option, right? I don't know where else you can hike in the city. Again, I'm a Brooklyn kid.
I had no
I'm not a
idea
Brooklyn
you can
kid.
hike.
You know the irony of that? He mentioned Rockaway Beach like it's in Brooklyn, and we all know that that's Queens.
Most. Yeah, Rockaway, Queens. Again,
But
they
does
claim
it stretch
Brooklyn.
into Brooklyn?
No, but they claim Brooklyn.
No,
Oh,
Because they
okay.
don't want to be associated with Queens.
no, it's Brooklyn who's trying to claim it, even though the boundaries are not even in Brooklyn.
You know, I have no idea. I've probably been over there once.
It's nice
Like
over there.
Coney Island?
No, but
Okay.
again, easy access to Coney Island from
Okay.
Flatbush
Yeah.
Junction.
Yeah.
Houses, the housing stock in Flatbush. So you get a lot of like limestone houses, and then you also get a lot of like Victorian houses. The good thing about Flatbush Junction, a lot of the houses either come with shared driveway or private driveway,
Okay.
which you're not going to get in a lot of other neighborhoods
Right.
Yeah.
in Flatbush. Another thing is Flatbush Junction, right? You have Brooklyn College there. And what I envision is, or what I see is, a lot of the students like just stay in that neighborhood to raise their families and, you know, just live there.
Yeah.
One, because it's affordable. The average sale, I think, in Flatbush, I think 800,000.
Okay.
I think the average list price is about 700.
Okay, so still
right?
affordable.
Right. So you
That's
can
still
see like
affordable.
the sales price is higher than the list price,
Yeah.
which shows the demand, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that would be the next neighborhood. It's serviced by the 2 and the 5 subway line. Matter of fact, right, I had lunch with the president of the Business Improvement District,
Yeah.
like the BID,
Yeah.
and he said that there's whispers for the Long Island Railroad to come all the way down to Flatbush Junction.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Right, because
Yeah.
right now I think it stops in like Atlantic
Yeah.
Terminal,
Okay.
and yeah, so there's talks of it coming down to Flatbush Junction.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would be cool. And, you know, I think I genuinely think that that's the next neighborhood which is slept on, because I think, this is another thing, right? A lot of the Victorian houses, they have excessive amount of air rights. So you're saying a lot
So
of
you can go
developers
higher.
coming in
Right.
and building like boutique condos.
Okay.
They're building like boutique rental
Yeah.
units. So I feel like you're going to get a blend of like young professionals moving in, and you also have families moving in who can like,
Cool.
who are looking for that parking space.
Nice.
Like that.
Harlem the same. Like we have a lot of boutique townhouses.
Yeah.
And I think the Smithsonian, which is the new Dev 370 Lenox,
Yeah.
it's only about 55 apartments, and they have a lot of amenity spaces. So it's
Yeah.
like that's like the thing people want now. It's like that smaller building and
Yeah.
luxury.
100%.
I need to shout out to Arts and Uncles. Do you guys know Keith Lee, the food? Yeah. So he he actually visited Arts and Uncles. They're a vegan restaurant down in Flatbush, and I think they, you know, from when he done the review, I think the next day, like the line was around the block from that restaurant, which is in Flatbush.
Wow.
So yeah, Flatbush, Brooklyn, come over here, come over to the good side.
Come over to the good side.
No, my sole mission this year is to get Isaiah into Queens more, because I feel like deep down in his heart, he knows and loves how great Queens is. Yep. And we basically, there's an imaginary border, There's probably times he's in Queens and he doesn't even realize it.
Can I tell you this, right? We're not going to include Long Island City. Long Island City is an
It's
extension of Manhattan. That's an extension of Manhattan.
Except there's that water in between it. But yeah.
No. I'll come out to Queens.
I don't know. To get to Queens, you usually have to pay a toll. You could take the.
That's
Street,
that's
Queens,
not true, y'all.
Going
That
to Queens is like
true.
going to Long Island, man.
It kind of discourages you from going.
No,
What, just
everything
said just
you
that.
guys are saying is not true, because you don't have to pay, at least right now. I mean, I know that the MTA is getting kind of crazy with these, with these tolls within the
Congestion
city.
charge.
Yeah, but to get to Queens from Manhattan, you could just take the Triborough Bridge. You could take the Queensboro Bridge, which is free, which is the Ed Cotts Bridge now.
Right.
You could get right into Midtown Manhattan in like less than 5 minutes for free. So all I'm saying is that Long Island City, don't let whatever these headlines that you're reading make you believe that Long Island City is far, because clearly it's close, and that it's not popping, because there's a lot going on.
I'm not going to Queens.
Surprising though, the most surprising thing that people don't know about Long Island City though is that obviously there's a lot of condo buildings. Condos make up the majority of the inventory there, but there's a ton of townhouses there. And they're in between these streets. There's in between a lot of these buildings where, they're trading right now at $1.5 million. And there's some nice little corridors. There's 45th Avenue, which is actually a historic neighborhood.
Right.
45th Avenue, you can get a beautiful townhouse that you would actually think, if you didn't know where it was, you would think that it's in Brooklyn, you would think that it's in Harlem. You wouldn't even know that you're in Queens and in Long Island City at that. So I do think for folks who may be looking for townhouses, people who don't necessarily want to be in a high rise, they want to still have that kind of more familial, kind of homely feel. You can still get that in Long Island City at a good price. And for those who are trying to sell in Long Island City, right now is a great time, because the demand is at an all-time high, as I mentioned before. And we're already starting to see that the days on market, which in the past, we were hovering around 130 days. Right now, we're seeing that number getting closer to 100. So it's just letting you know that people are really, really trying to come into Long Island City. Right. And my prediction is that by the end of this year, we're actually hopefully going to see that number go under 100.
I think Lena's trying to get our attention, guy.
Yes. But you know what? I think we've had a lot of good conversation. Look, this is the first episode. I can't wait to go head to head with you. For sure.
I think there was a lot of jokes, but I feel like genuinely those people out there looking to like make a purchase this year, I know we're at the top of the year, a lot of people are still looking for their achieve their goals. I think this could be really helpful in terms of I know everyone wants to come to Brooklyn, but something like Queens, they want to Queens, or the Bronx.
Or the Bronx.
Harlem,
hopefully we inspire you guys to start checking out other neighborhoods, and explore.
Absolutely.
We gave 8 great options in episode 1.
Yep.
But you know what? I think we're going to go into a lot more deeper content. A lot more deeper content in all of the future episodes. But I think that's a wrap for episode 1. I think we started off real strong, and like I said in the beginning, if you do want to check out Boro4Boro podcast, make sure to check out the More Network. Hit us with that like and that subscribe so you could be in tune for when all of the future episodes come out.
Like, share, follow.
All of that. Until then, cheers.
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 All right, guys.
Well done, guys.